This new iPad Pro is amazing. It gets Apple's next-gen M4 chip. No MacBook has that. It gets the most advanced OLED display, not found in any MacBook. And look, when I put it on the new Magic Keyboard, it's better than a MacBook. Even the prices are comparable. And yet, is there a person who can actually use this hardware without the software getting in the way? Let's try and find them. But first, before the logo comes up, let me show you this new MAC Address Oxford shirt that replaces the old shirt I wore in the first MAC Address video that ripped. You can get this at lttstore.com and it comes in tall sizes, which is great. At 5.1 millimeters, this 13-inch iPad Pro is the slimmest device they've ever made. I've always found the big iPads to be a lot, but this is a lot less. And that's all thanks to this screen. It's the largest device Apple has ever fitted an OLED to. And that means that each pixel is its own source of light. With plebeian liquid crystal technology, the light source is separate from the display. This means that if you're displaying something dark or black, an OLED pixel can just switch off and be black while its neighbor is still shining bright. Whereas older screen technology is trying to block out light like a curtain, and pixels that are still shining will at best be grouped into dimming zones, leading to orby fireworks. OLED's advantage is also its disadvantage. Because each pixel is responsible for output, and extra voltage causes them to break down, they don't get very bright. Certainly not bright enough for Apple's 1600 nit XDR standard, which is why the iPad Pro has been using a mini LED backlight as a compromise and only on the larger screen models. Until now. Apple's solution to this OLED disadvantage is to just use two of them. This iPad, and the smaller one too, has a tandem OLED they call Ultra Retina XDR. It really is a sight to behold. The blacks are so deep and the highlights so bright that when you're watching HDR content, you really feel like you're peering into another world. There's just so much potential here. LTT Labs tested this display and found it to be astonishingly bright. After half an hour, this display was still blasting a full white screen at 1000 nits. It's impeccably accurate too, especially in reference mode. In fact, they compared it to that 5-figure professional HDR reference monitor editors salivate over. This isn't 5 figures, but it's most definitely 4. Because of a $200 price increase, the 11-inch Pro now starts at $1,000. Base storage has increased to 256 gigabytes, a nice bone dispassionately thrown our way. But it's still a big inflation pill to swallow for what is an iPad. A very powerful iPad at that. Only 7 months after releasing the M3, Apple put the all-new M4 chip in this. The chip's main claim to performance is the neural engine, which boasts 38 trillion operations per second. It's over double the M3, and they're really for all the future Apple Intelligence stuff they announced at WWDC. That's all great, but I can't think of a device in Apple's lineup that needs more power less than this. And it's because of this iPad. Both of them are going to get iPadOS 18 in a few months, but this iPad uses an iPhone chip that's almost 8 years old. Now, M-powered iPads are certainly more capable with Stage Manager, virtual memory, and a few exclusive apps. But this iPad definitely has its wings clipped because it's running the same OS as this old thing. Are we entering the rant section of this video? Well, while I'm on that, I should let you know that this fine-woven watch band literally stinks. I'm still gutted that Apple doesn't make any leather accessories, but dbrand still does, and I'm gonna put it on this iPad. Check this out. It's their brown leather skin. This is high-grade vegetable tan leather, no painted or stamped surface here, and that means that you'll get patina. It's available in 3 colors, black, tan, and this brown, and you can get it for all your Apple devices and beyond. Head to dbrand.com/leather because this smells so good. Now, I've been using this fully kitted out iPad Pro for the past few weeks and I'm still running into roadblocks. When editing the WWDC video a while back, I needed to go through the event video file to find the moments for the editor to cut through. I was able to open the almost 200 gigabyte ProRes file in the File app off our server and scrub smoothly on Wi-Fi. Amazing! But the timecode isn't displayed like in QuickTime on a Mac. Instead, it only shows the time remaining. Do you have a time-based calculator?
What?
Apple's upgraded $300+ Magic Keyboard is a dangerous peripheral. It's very nice, the typing is amazing, the function row welcome, and the haptic touchpad perfect. It'll make you think that using this iPad will be just like any MacBook you've used before. That is, right up until an app decides to ignore trackpad functionality entirely. Google is perhaps the most pernicious offender. Many of the most used buttons in their apps just won't work when a mouse or trackpad is involved, like the full screen button on YouTube if an ad has played, or simple text selection in Google Docs. This orb isn't a finger! Remember back almost 3 years ago when I tried to import photos from a shared Google Drive? Still can't. It's really shocking. Maybe I should switch to Microsoft apps. Oh no, Word still does that cursor delay thing. iPad OS also still only handles one audio source at a time in the worst way. So if, say, you're listening to a podcast on YouTube and scroll past a muted video on Twitter, your podcast will pause. What are we even doing? My MacBook can play everything at once. There have just been so many frictious moments when using this that I can't imagine using an iPad instead of a laptop. While we're in tablet mode, the new Pencil Pro is a big surprise for me. Its $130 price tag is the exact same as the old one, but it's a complete redesign, enabling a landscape front camera and a whole host of features. There's a squeeze gesture for quick access to tools and menus, which you can feel thanks to the haptic feedback. Perhaps the most amazing is the barrel roll feature, which senses rotation when you're using linear brushes and tools. And look at this in the Notes app. They render a shadow of the tool you're using when you hover. This is so delightful. There's someone in Apple who remembers how magic works. It even now has Find My, though I should note it's not ultra-wideband, so it only functions vaguely, like most AirPods. And you can only find it with the iPad for some reason. It's in this mess? How am I gonna... It didn't add a speaker. Where does it beep? Oh, there it is. I'm too tall. We already determined that the Apple Pencil was worth its price tag a few years ago. This definitely changes the game. But I should also note that this is compatible with the less expensive M2 iPad Air 2. With every release, I always hope that the iPad will somehow make more sense, but Apple keeps pushing the envelope on this device in really weird ways. I feel like, because of the iPad's limitations, the way you use it is more personal. Someone might love taking handwritten notes, whereas for me, it's a couch computer for online shopping, article reading, and YouTube video viewing. Someone else might have a killer app they use exclusively. And so, perhaps at these exorbitant prices, the iPad is worth it for a select group. If you are a display nerd, you will definitely want this iPad in your life. The screen is that good. If you are a video editor who wants to grade HDR content, this screen is that good. I actually got Hoffman to try it, and he said that it's a display he can trust, though Sidecar's Apple ID requirements are really annoying. And what about the compression? If you are wealthy, this is definitely the iPad to get. If you want an iPad that will last a very long time, well, because of the M4 processor, upgraded Pencil Pro, and this screen, now is the time to buy an iPad Pro, because this will last as long and perform just as well as the 2018 iPad Pro I know many people are struggling to upgrade from now. That's kind of the ideal iPad for me, come to think of it. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be supported for much longer. I still like using an iPad in my life, but as a supplemental computer, definitely not my main one. Opening my Mac after using this feels like such a breath of fresh air, and there's a good future to think about. LG, the maker of tandem OLED displays, just recently announced they're manufacturing laptop displays, so it's likely we might see this on the next MacBook Pro. Now we're talking. Thanks for brightening up this MAC address to 1000 nits. If you're gonna use an iPad outside, it's gotta be this. I am curious in the comments if you would spend the extra money, and it is a lot, for the tandem OLED screen. And if you wanna watch one of our other videos, maybe watch the one we did 3 years ago on the M1 iPad Pro, just to see how little things have changed when it comes to iPad capability.